Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. For those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always double salute. Now, today's video, we're actually going to be talking about PayPal business loan with no credit check. Now, there's a difference because I think people only either know one or the other, but PayPal has two types of business loans, okay? And we're also going to talk about other lenders that you can actually get funding from without a credit check as well. But here's the understanding, like PayPal business loan is usually called their PayPal working capital business loan, okay? And then you have the PayPal business loan builder. And so understanding that with these loans, again, you don't need Dun & Bradstreet, so you don't need a DUNS number, you don't need net 30s, and you don't need a PAYDEX score. That's very important. Now here's something that I want you all to understand. If you have a business, although you may have challenging credit, I would still make sure that I would have one of these here banks here, okay? And looking at my top four, well, top five would be, also because I would include Wells Fargo. And the reason that I would include Wells Fargo, because Wells Fargo uses FICO 9 scoring. And because they use FICO 9, they report to Small Business Financial Exchange, and that information is shared with Dun & Bradstreet. Wells Fargo does not report to Dun & Bradstreet, nor does American Express. Dun & Bradstreet picks that information up from the Small Business Exchange. The reason that, especially if you're going after funding, because I'm going to show you how to double dip in order to get the maximum amount of funding, all right? So if you are a freelancer, like doing Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, Instacart, any of those, then I would make sure that you have one of these financial institutions, all right? I would have this set up first. Then once I have this set up, what I would do, I would actually set up a PayPal account, okay? Whether it's a regular business account or a Premier account, and we're going to talk about those, but let's understand the difference between the loan builder and the working capital, okay? Because the loan builder, you don't have to have an account with PayPal, okay? You can be an outside business and get a loan from PayPal. That's the cool part about it. But here's the thing about it. You may be missing out on opportunity, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Now, with the PayPal working capital, it's mainly for PayPal sellers. So if you're accepting PayPal payments and everything. Now, the reason that I'm suggesting that you do this, okay, here's the reason that I'm suggesting that you have a PayPal account. Because the revenue that you're bringing in, passing it on from your PayPal account over to your business checking account, not only builds up the financials for PayPal, but it also builds up the relationship with your bank as well. So now, not only are you able to get loans from PayPal with no credit check, you're able to take those same business bank financial statements and get loans from other lenders, which we're going to talk about in a minute. All right. Now, understanding that a loan builder allows higher amounts. Okay. So with the loan builder, it goes from $5,000 up to $500,000. Okay. And with the PayPal working capital, it goes from $1,000 up to $300,000. Okay. And in reference to the loan builder, it is based entirely off of the revenue. Okay, so it has nothing to do with PayPal sales. If you have PayPal sales, great. But it's all about the revenue. And again, here's the thing about it, like with the PayPal loan builder. It's like certain high-risk businesses that you have to be very careful of. And some of those high-risk businesses I talked about with Navy Federal. So if you want to see that video, what I'll do, I'll put the video down below in the description so you can actually see that, okay? But here's the thing about it. The reason that I told you want to set up with one of those major banks, I would choose either American Express, Chase, Capital One, Citibank, or Wells Fargo. The reason I would choose Chase, Capital, these would probably be my three priorities, okay? Which would be Chase, Capital One, and Citibank. The reason is because they report not only to Small Business Financial Exchange, but these are reporting to Experian and Equifax, as well as Dun and Bradstreet picking up that information, okay? So then you're having multiple business credit bureaus picking up this information so that it also builds up your business credit file and get funding. Now, here's another thing that you also want to understand as well. Making those daily and weekly deposits. That's the reason I was telling you about, like, if you're working a job and you're trying to start a business, then I would say the best way and the fastest way to generate revenue and to build up your business bank rating, that's very important, is to have the weekly or daily deposit. If nothing else, make sure you have weekly deposits, because the reason is, if you can't do the daily, reason is the more deposit activity you have, then the better your business bank rating, okay? And it's easier for you to get qualified for funding, even if you have challenging credit. But it also builds up those financial statements that you can use with other lenders as well. All right, so that's the reason you want to do that. Now, with the PayPal business loan, okay, that's your PayPal working capital, okay? With your PayPal working capital loan, all right? Not the PayPal loan builder, your PayPal working capital. You don't need a credit score, okay? So it's not going off of the credit score. Now, the things about it, like I said, with the PayPal working capital loan, you're going to need annually to be making between $15,000 with a business account, or with a Premier account is $20,000, okay? And you have to have that PayPal account for at least 90 days, all right? But the annual is $15,000 on a business, on the Premier is $20,000, okay? Now, in reference to the PayPal loan builder, you have to be in business. Your business has to be in business for at least 9 months. Now, again, you don't have to have a PayPal account with them, all right, in order to get the PayPal loan builder, all right? But in reference to if you want to bypass them not looking at your personal credit, then you definitely would have to have a PayPal business account or a Premier account for that, all right? And as a matter of fact, like I said, because you can be in business for a shorter amount of time, but with the PayPal loan builder, all right, you have to be in business for at least 9 months. Now, the annual revenue is $4,200 a year. So that's what, like 36? That's about what, about $3,200 a month, right? So that's not a whole lot of money you have to be making in order to qualify, but you have to be making that annually, okay? Now, again, I'm going to show you some other lenders. They say that you should have a personal credit score of 620, but if you have good revenue in the business, PayPal may look over the credit score and still be able to give you the loan, okay? Now, that being said, here's another place for you to get a personal loan, but their thing is you have to have an account with them, and you have to have deposits for at least 3 months, which is about 90 days. Then they don't look at the personal credit. You don't have to have a DUNS number. You don't have to have a PAYDEX score. You don't even have to have a Social Security number. You do have to have the social to open up the account if you don't have an EIN number. But other than that, it's straightforward. I made a video about this here banking. I'll put it below as well. Now, here's the good thing about it. They can loan you up to $10,000, all right? So that's very good. And again, they're not focused on if you have a DUNS number or a PAYDEX score or something like that. There's nothing wrong with having that, but it's not a necessity to have, okay? Now, here's another lender that you don't have to have good credit. Their main focus is the revenue. Okay, 3 months in business, loans go from 5,000 up to 5 million. Okay, and your revenue, but your revenue, monthly revenue, should be at least 5,000, which is higher than what PayPal is requiring, and their interest rates may be higher than PayPal. But at the same time, if you're trying to avoid somebody not dealing with your personal credit, you just really want them to look at the business, then Rapid Finance is one of those lenders that you may want to consider as well. Another lender you may want to consider as well is, and all you have to be in business for 3 months, but the revenue has to be a monthly of at least 5,000, and this is Headway Capital. Okay, have to have a working business bank account, and there's no personal guarantee, so they're not looking at the credit. So that's the reason like, a lot of people, they're so caught up on, well, I have a paydex score. That doesn't mean anything these days. A paydex score, like for if you're trying to get like supplies and stuff, then yes, because you want to deal with certain vendors. But if you're trying to get like funding and stuff, and you have challenging credit, this shows you that you actually do not need Dun & Bradstreet. And that's the point I'm making. A lot of people have been buying all of these net 30s and trying to jump through all of these hoops for their business to get funding and stuff, not realizing there are so many lenders out in the market that can help you get funding without a DUNS number, without a paydex score, without net 30s, okay? Now, again, if you have that, great, but just understanding you don't need that. The thing about it with a lot of these lenders, do you have revenue coming in? That's what they're actually looking at. Now, here's another one, Headway Capital. Their loans go from 5,000 up to 100,000, 550 credit score. So that means that you can still have a bad credit. Okay, they're not tripping off that. You have to be in business at least a year. Your annual revenue is about $4,200. So about about $50,000 a year. Okay, but $4,200 again is not a lot of money. Okay, especially if you're running a business and you're out there really hustling and stuff. Now, here's the thing about it. You can see that they are kind of restricted to certain states, all right? But it seems that they have a lower interest on their loans, all right? So here's the thing that I would definitely tell you. I would probably open up the business bank account. Make sure you have the business bank account open. If you don't know how to structure your business probably if you don't know how to structure your business properly, then click the link in the description and schedule a one-on-one consultation. If you're still worried about your personal credit, click the link in the description, get your real credit file, and let's go over it. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do to help you boost up your credit score, especially your FICO 9, because there's lenders out there that I can definitely show you that may be able to work with you if you have a good, strong FICO 9 credit score, okay? Though FICO 9 is usually your fintech companies, some of your credit unions. So they may have more flexibility than your major banks and stuff. Like American Express, Chase, Citibank, Capital One. Those banks, they pull your FICO 8 scoring. Okay, so that's the reason that you may want to try to. So they're very stringent on their scoring, versus with a FICO 9 you have more flexibility. Okay, now here's another option you have, but you do have to have at least a 600 credit score, but that's okay, because again, it's for new businesses, LLCs, new startups and everything. They loan up to 100,000, all right, and it reports to all of the business credit bureaus, Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, and Equifax. Now, it does pull your FICO 8, but all you have to have is a 600, and it's a net 21. So I made a video about this as well. But now you're starting to see that there's so many lenders that are coming into the market that they're not looking at Dun & Bradstreet. They're looking at, is the business making revenue? That's the reason a lot of people get caught up. Well, can I use my home address or should I use a virtual address? And I tell them, use the home address, okay? Because a lot of lenders aren't tripping off of the address. They're tripping off of, it's two main factors, two bigger factors that really play a role, okay? That's the revenue that's coming into your business and the personal credit. So that's the reason I'm so adamant of encouraging you all to build up your personal credit so that you can leverage your FICO 9. Like I said, this is a FICO 8, but at the same time, you only need a 600 credit score. Now, you also have capital on tap. Now, with capital on tap, soft pull on the credit, FICO 9, you could be a new business, but the revenue has to be at least $30,000 annually. Okay, so that's less than $3,000 a month. But if you're able to produce $30,000 annually, even as a brand new business or whatever, then they're willing to work with you. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you about capital on tap, once they approve you, okay, and they look at your bank statements, they may also follow up and say, hey, can we see invoices? So if they don't see invoices and if those invoices do not match your business bank statements, they may shut the card down, okay? So just keep that in mind, all right? Now, if you have any other questions about business credit, personal credit, again, click the link in the description. Thank you.